Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel today. Right, the main subject of today's video is on a particular block and a particular job on a block, and I've just headed round to our store here because we've got a Ford Focus RS block here with dart and sleeves in it. Now, in case you guys don't know what dart and sleeves are, I'm going to show you here. Now, the dart and sleeves are these liners that have been put in this block. As I say, this is a Ford RS Mark II block, so it's the sort of derivative of the original Volvo 5-cylinder block. Now, the idea of this mod, Darton is a company that make these liners, and the idea is to make the open deck a sort of closed deck. So you've got this big part here, which is probably, off the top of my head, I think it's about sort of 15 mil deep, and you machine the block out. So you machine out the top of the open deck liner that's cast into the aluminium block, probably 2-3 inches deep now, can't remember off the top of my head. And you fit these liners, which are very thick, and they've obviously got this big part here, which with the holes in the top are sort of going through to the water jacket, and the idea is to make it very sturdy. It's all self-supporting with the aluminium, so it acts as a sort of closed deck block really. Now, these liners are very expensive. They're probably, I think they're about sort of £600 for a set, £500-600, so about £120-125 each. And then you've got the machining on the job, on the block, which is a very lengthy machining process. You've obviously got to get your centers absolutely correct, and then you've got to bore out the top of the liner down to the bottom of the water jacket. You've then got to bore out the top here exactly right, and it's all got to butt in together. As you can see, these liners, you've got to machine the flat on here so they butt up together absolutely perfectly, as you can see. Now, this block here is a customer's. We didn't actually do this one, but we have done some machining on it and just sort of rescued it. It did overheat, this one. But anyway, today's story is all to do with us machining one of these, but in a Volvo. So it was quite a high-powered Volvo block, and the customer bought the block in to be machined, and yeah, I'll tell you the sort of tale of it really. And I suppose the moral of this video would be a sort of lesson learnt. Always get your money before they take the product sort of video. Okay, so now you've seen the block and the type of work that's involved there and the whole purpose of it, I'd like to just sort of tell you about this one incident we've had. Now, the story comes from a factual episode that happened to us about 3 years ago now. Obviously, we weren't doing the YouTube videos back then. We didn't have the channel, so I've only just got the opportunity to tell you about it. But yeah, I think it's well worth doing a video on. For any of you viewers out there that have got a business or sort of deal with customers and work the way we did, you've got to be very, very careful, and this is a perfect example for that. So, beginning of the story, a chap comes in out of the blue from up country somewhere. This was at a time 3 years ago. We were sort of dealing with more local garages, etc., than people away, so it was a bit strange for someone to come from right up country near Scotland way to have a block machined. You know, at the time before COVID and that, there seemed to be sort of more machine shops maybe than there is now. But he turned up. I remember a tall gentleman, longish hair, from a motorsport company, wanted this machine done. They were building a Volvo engine for, you know, a good 750 horsepower, he said. Seemed to know his stuff, went on and on about what they're putting on it and the reason for it and that. And at that time, we hadn't really dealt with many Focus RS's or ST blocks, so we weren't that familiar with the 5-cylinder engine, although we had built a couple of Volvos, but we certainly hadn't put the Darton sleeves in before. So I did suggest to him that we could put another option would be to put the top hat ductile iron liners in like we normally do, but no, he insisted on the Dartons because he wanted to make it a sort of closed deck, if you like. So yeah, we give him a quote, and I think, I mean, the bill would probably be more these days, but back then we didn't really realise what was involved in it, and I think the bill with the liners was about £1,500 plus the VAT, something like that. So about £1,000 for the work, and about £500-600 for the liners. Anyway, he left it with us. I did the job, very lengthy job. Obviously, being the first one of the type that we've done, it always takes longer. I had to do it on the milling machine, so it's, it was a bit of a learning curve for me, but yeah, managed to do it. Right, so job was done. I rang the customer. He was very grateful. He came down about 3 days later to pick up the job. Very peculiar. I had gone home, and literally about 5:15, probably 5-10 minutes after I'd left, John was here, and John, the guy, came in, same as usual. He was really pleased with the job. He had a guy in the car outside driving. He comes in, we get it loaded into the car, and John came into the office to take payment. Very strange. The guy walked past the office, threw in a cheque for £500, scarpered out the door, got in the car, and they'd gone. What do you do? Everyone in business's worst nightmare, I suppose. We rang the police. They checked, the number, the guy's name sort of didn't exist, couldn't get through to him. He was gone. And so yeah, we logged it with the police, but not really a lot they could do. One of those, really. Needless to say, the cheque bounced anyway, but I don't quite understand the point in chucking a cheque in the door, whether it was just to distract us while you got in the car. But so the moral of that story is always take payment before they load it in the car, or definitely take payment before they take the job away as a private punter. Obviously garages that are on account, so that's fine, and who we know and who are reputable, but yeah, that was a real sort of left a real sour taste in our mouth. That was a lot of work. The company that he gave us a mobile number, but the company that he gave us didn't exist, or sort of went squick during what we did. I can't remember now. It was about 3 years ago, but I can't remember whether we checked the company. I think I did, and it did exist, but it was gone. He'd gone, and that was the end of that. So yeah, real harsh learning curve for us. Definitely shan't be doing that again. It'll be pay up, then we'll load the job up, and we certainly don't take our eye off the customer or the job. Yeah. Well, on a slightly more positive note, as you can see, the gearbox there for the Type 9, the Type 9 gearbox is all done, all complete, sitting next to the same customer's 1275 midget engine, ready to be collected tomorrow. And as you can see over here, this is the same customer again. He's 850 Mini engine. We got the gearbox in the sump here done as well. There's a local chap that we deal with, one of our customers. He does the gearboxes on these. Bob Tucker, absolutely brilliant, bless him. And so he's done the box on that, plopped that on, and he's got 2 engines and a gearbox to pick up tomorrow. Little update on the Audi. We've just took delivery, you can see Carlos is unpacking it over there, of the turbocharger. So that was the last thing we were waiting for on this. So he's going to get that turbo on and the manifold, and we're going to attempt to get this engine in. Hopefully the beginning to middle of next week we should have this up and running, and hopefully ready for the customer to collect. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hope you've learned something from it. Feel free to comment underneath your views on this. like, subscribe, and see you in another video. Take care.